fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host with the most, Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs as we recount a spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's spooky selection. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Halloween.
Laugh with me, Freakazoid. Laugh with me.
All right, Dragon, it's all you, buddy. This is your show. You've been hyping this show up to me for years. I finally got around to watching the first 8 episodes or so, and I gotta say, I kind of get the hype for it, Dragon. It's comfort TV, for lack of a better term, Dragon. It's very comfortable to watch. It's like you sit down, you know you're gonna get like a solid 20 minutes worth of pure comedy. And I don't know, it's very wholesome in that regard. You know what it kind of reminds me of, Dragon, with the police theme? And I think you're gonna like this comparison. It's almost like an updated version of the Andy Griffith Show.
Huh. It's not bad. Yeah.
Minus the small town qualities, but basically, taking all the police.
It's got the familiarity of New York, so it kind of fills in that with the familiarity of New York.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of America. It's kind of, it's America's small town.
Right.
Which is kind of a big town, kind of a big apple, but let's not split fruits here.
So, Dragon, I will say that I know Andy Samberg for his movies, specifically Hot Rod, and Pop Star. I really, really liked Pop Star. That was one of my favorite comedies the year it came out. And so I was, this was kind of always in the background for me of like, well, I do like that Samberg kid. And so I gotta say, Dragon, watching through the series, he's not to give gruff to anyone else, it's a good ensemble show, but Samberg is so damn likable in this thing, man.
I know. Let me put it to you this way, Tiki. Let me tell you why I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Very simply, it's this, and I've been saying this since the beginning. I know you know this, but just to say it, for the folks that don't, because we've never talked about Brooklyn Nine-Nine mutually. It's always been just me saying, "Oh, Tiki, you gotta watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine." That sort of thing. The great thing about Brooklyn Nine-Nine is that part of the cliche here is that it's having these silly characters who kind of have skills to pay the bills, and they can be as silly as they want. They can be as joking. Like, again, you think it's going that direction of, okay, it's gonna be a cop show where they're all funny and incompetent. It's going to leave me wondering why do they have their jobs? Like, how are they still employed? Where in this case, wonderfully, and the thing I keep coming back to the show for, I think it's always had me from the beginning with, because I came in with that preconceived notion of, okay, it's an Andy Samberg, he's going to yuck it up, he's going to be the incompetent cop, and we're just gonna like buy it, and we're going to move on with it. But what they did, the third act, the ending of the first episode. It had the bit where, and basically has the bit all throughout, but I mean, the ending really kind of is the big hallmark if you didn't already buy into it, where they're really good at their jobs. They never, they earn that right to be funny. They earn that right to goof off and kind of pal around and be silly because they're really good at their jobs. They're smart people. They're detectives. They're officers. They're captains. They know exactly what they're doing, and I love that. And that's like, you never see. Initially, you think it's gonna be like The Office or something, but no, it's not The Office.
Oh God, it's a lot better than The Office, from what I can tell.
I'm saying Mike Shore, and here's the fun. I bring up The Office for a very specific point, because Mike Shore was one of the head writers. I don't know if he was the co-creator. I believe Greg Daniels was the if not the sole, because of course The Office famously was a show in the UK, and then they brought it over to America, and then it kind of really caught like wildfire. Now, Greg Daniels did that, and Greg Daniels, I believe, also. I'm thinking of somebody else, but no, the point is, Greg Daniels had some Simpsons credits to his name, and then he did The Office. And Mike Shore was one of the head writers, and he was on the show as I believe, Mose. He was Dwight's cousin, I think. Dwight's cousin Mose. And the point is, Mike Shore was one of the best show developers, showrunners, and just all around one of the great writers because he's written some of the great shows that are on now. I mean, of course, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think, just kind of makes him king of the castle for me of comedy right now on TV. He does The Good Place, which is really smart, and people have been praising. Again, I'm on the bandwagon there. I mean, The Good Place is it's very smart writing, and again, it subverts every expectation. It's the great thing about that show; it subverts every expectation. And there are a few others that are kind of skipping me at the moment. Those are like the two main ones. The point is, if Mike Schur's name's on it these days, you know it's going to be good. And the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, King of the Castle, in regards to that. So very, like, and I can't. It's like I sit down to watch an episode. It's like getting injected with Joker venom. I feel like I'm gonna die laughing sometimes watching that show. I think it's delightful, and it just keeps getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad again, so good, in fact. It was canceled and was brought back by a different network. And again, it was canceled for a really stupid reason. By the way, it wasn't canceled because of a decline in quality at all. I want to make that very clear. It was not. It had a good enough ending if it were to go out unfairly. At least it would have been satisfying. But basically because people weren't watching it as it aired. People were watching it like as it streamed and everything, and basically watching it through every other means. I don't know if piracy was a direct factor. I presume was a majority of the reason, but the point is, it's back. People have overlooked that foolishness, and it's going to be coming back on NBC. So hooray!
What was it on before? CBS?
No, it was on Fox before.
Oh, Fox. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be interested to see if there's going to be any kind of tonal changes in the show, like production changes. Because again, for 5 years they did such a great job with it. And again, never lost momentum, never lost steam. So it'll be interesting seeing if anything's really changed with it coming back. And I guess it's kind of funny because I think it's Mike Schur kind of returning to the NBC roots where The Office was. So kind of funny. All right. So that said, Tig, anything else you want to say about the show as a whole, or you want to just dive right into it?
No, like I said, I just think it's a really good comfort food. That's the way I describe it. It's like I really like the show on a fundamental level, like episode to episode from the brief bit I've seen so far, and I'm glad that you recommended it to me.
All right, so one thing I gotta say to preface this whole thing. So there's a great tradition in the series of Halloween. So this begins a long-running tradition of every season they basically do a sequel to this. They basically it's Holt and Peralta trying to top each other each year with basically this challenge they've issued to each other, and then the whole squad gets into it and they make a big event out of it. Every episode since this kind of the origin of it with this episode. And I love that, and I love how it keeps going. And I won't spoil it because I know you haven't seen it yet. I don't know if you intend on keeping on with the series, and I hope you do. But season 5, they do a really big, kind of cool subversion with it. But again, it keeps they keep it fresh every year. Is what I'm saying. With they do like kind of a fun inversion of it. So it's really inventive. This is one of my favorites when I try to sell somebody on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Again, I knew if we're going to do any of the Halloweens, I got to do the first one, and of course that puts us in season 1, which again, kind of the grand origin of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So let's just dive right into it then.
All right.
All right, so it's Halloween, and we see that Amy Santiago, she is not a fan because she's basically going on about like, oh, Halloween again, Halloween for a cop, Halloween for the 9-9 is it's a holiday full of drunks, with fake guns, and you have like you have all these girls in these slutty costumes, like someone saw someone with a slut as a slutty tree who wanted to have sex with another tree. Sorry, with a tree.
Like, you're right. That is the worst. Please make them stop.
And also, Sully came in with the line of like, I think it was a maple.
Hey, dragon. Hey, dragon.
Yeah. Yes.
I was the Willow.
God. Now I'm just thinking of like the sad version of it. It's just, I was the Willow. That tree was violated, man. So, and of course, just what's mentioning Sully too. We have a great cast of characters from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I love all of them, and so far, I mean, you're loving Samberg, right?
Yeah, I'm loving Samberg, and I'm also loving
Holt.
uh
Holt, right, the captain?
the captain. Yes, I'm sorry, I don't know these people's names off the top of my head right
Well,
now.
what do you think of, just because we just talked about her, what do you think of Amy?
She's fine.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. So Charles. So Charles Boyle. Now this is one I really got to pick your brain with, Tiki. So Charles Boyle. We have him coming in here, and Charles Boyle. The idea is that Charles Boyle is the most peppy. He's an old. He's kind of a middle aged detective, but he has like such a pep in his step. He's the most optimistic of the group. He's kind of the age old like Spike and Ike cartoon, like the whole like big dog little dog. He's like a little dog in spades, where he's always like going around Jake like, yeah, we're pals, aren't we? We're pals, and it's constantly he's like Jake's right hand man, is like his sidekick practically. And Charles Boyle, nothing can really bum out. Charles Boyle always likes to be festive around Halloween and all the holidays, so he comes in wearing a costume. He says, "Hey guys, how you like my stoom? Stoom?" And of course they're all messing with. They all like to mess with Charles and his unflagging optimism, with like guessing what Charles's costume is. He says, "Yeah, Dumpy Chuck Norris," because he has this red wig and he's wearing this white outfit. Dumpy Chuck Norris. No, Dumpy Ron Weasley. They're really emphasizing the Dumpy. Dumpy, and of course Terry Crews, one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He doesn't really get to shine a lot in this episode. He's classically he's Terry, but it's like he's not one of Terry's A episodes, but he's always kind of good just in the background, I guess, where he's saying, "No, guys, come on." He's Miranda from Sex and the City, which is God, I love it. Terry watches Sex and the City, and I love it. I says, "No, I'm no, I'm Mario Batali." One of the celebrity chefs. That's
The
then why you look
ginger
like
prince.
Oh, go on.
That's it. Just the ginger prince of Little Italy.
That's funny.
And then a perp walks by, being handcuffed, and he's just like, "Hey, sweet Batali costume, dude."
He gets it. There's a guy with taste. And of course, they're reading off.
I have good taste.
Of course, they're reading off his file, and his file is he bit a guy's butt off at a WNBA game. Of course, Jake's just throwing other suggestions there, like Eric Stoltz from Mask. He says, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it." Poor Charles. All right. So then we have the morning brief. And you always have a morning brief scene at the 9-9, just classically in cop shows. They're all gathered in the morning. They all get assignments and kind of basically the captain gives like a little speech to the room. Either the captain or Sergeant Jefford, Terry. So basically getting a lowdown on how Halloween's going to operate. So these holding cells filled to max capacity because again, Halloween, busy time of the year, people breaking rules because they're wearing masks, no consequences, classic, stuff. And they're all in the holding cells are filled up, and Jake remarks of, "Oh yeah, I've had to keep Kim Jong Un and Hillary Clinton apart," and we see
This is one of my favorite Samberg deliveries.
he's been having trouble keeping people apart, and we just see Kim Jong Un and Hillary Clinton, and basically they're a couple just kind of going all they're all over each other. What does Samberg say when he's breaking them up?
Samberg's just like, "Hey, think of Bill."
What would Bill say? I gotta tell you, Tegan, I'm gonna mention it here because I don't know when we're ever gonna get to this, but I tell you, off the top of my head, unless I could ever find someone better, and because Jim Carrey's too old for the role, if we ever need the cast live action Freakazoid, Samberg's my pick.
Oh, I could totally see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, unless there's like someone better, I've always thought of Samberg for the Freakazoid roles. Paint him blue and give him a big wig. He's our guy. That's the thing. He's got that kind of. He can be that just kind of the casual guy, but he can also be kind of big and broad and just be all over the place. It's got that big giant smile like Freakazoid would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see. So getting back on point here. So after that, Holt needs someone to volunteer for undercover duty to basically catch some drug dealers around Halloween. So Charles volunteers, and they have to be in costume. And because Charles is already in costume, he's instantly volunteered for it. And let's see. So then. Oh, I'm sorry. And Holt thinks because you're clearly in costume as Joy Behar. I just love Holt. Even Holt's getting in on the action unintentionally. Joy Behar, right? So he's paired. Charles is paired with Amy, and Charles all optimistically he's promising, "Oh, Amy, Halloween's gonna be. I'm gonna show you that Halloween's gonna be fun. Do you promise that people are gonna be kind, sober, and fully dressed?" And of course, this is the running gag through almost the entire series here, where Jake is saying, "Title, name of Amy, say, sorry, name of Amy,
I kind of picked up that that was like a big running joke.
name of Amy, sex tape." Rosa's in on the action. Good old Rosa. More on her momentarily. Okay, let's see. So Jake has arrested his first Halloween idiot, as he kind of joyously kind of pronounces when he walks in the squad. It was a bank robber. And tell us a little bit about this bank robber.
Give me one sec. Oh yes, the bank robbery with the banana peel.
God. And in a banana suit, robbing a bank.
Don't worry. I'm sure you'll get out on appeal. Hey, I'm really glad you're stuck here because I got 1 million of these.
The banana who tried to split this dog. And then of course we have this bit here. This is like a 9/9 stamp here. Like in these real world observations. Usually cop shows don't get a chance to bring this up in like an observational, like kind of humor type of way here, but I love they got a chance to do it here where bank robbers, a lot of times foolishly they'll reach into the bag and you have the ink pack. They get the dye pack. They reach it, and Jake's trying to warn because it's going to be a mess and everything, and plus they have to repack that thing. So, oh wait, don't go for the don't try to take the money because he takes the money. Of course, boom, big blue blotch of ink right in his face. All right, so let's see. Oh, and of course, so this is where we get the genesis of the episode here. So Jake, classically, Jake, very many a time in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, will walk into the 9/9. He'll have like a declarative statement that people either try to prove or disprove, or will kind of be a runner through the episode. So Jake walks in, and he says, "Oh man, I would make such a better criminal than any of them, and none of you would be able to catch me." Of course, well, I'm sorry. Before that, Charles just interjects again with his very kind of sycophancy, where he just says. Yeah, and they call you the handsome bandit. Of course, this Jake's just kind of basking in the adulation. None of you would be able to catch me. So again, Holt voices the skepticism in the room, like, no, I don't think that's true. And of course, then we institute the bet. So the bet, very simply put, is this: Jake has to steal the most valuable item in Holt's office, which is his Medal of Valor. Of course, Jake's just remarking, "Oh man, you're such a hero, so cool." He's got to steal it before midnight from Holt's office, or he works the next 5 weekends, no overtime. Now, if he wins, Holt's doing his paperwork for tonight. Holt's doing his paperwork for tonight, and he has to say, Tiki, what does he have to say?
He has to say that Agent Peralta is a genius detective.
Oh, he's an amazing detective / genius.
Yeah. Right.
Amazing detective / genius. He has to declare that in front of the whole 9/9. So those are the stakes of the bet. So as that is basically, they shake on it, like, the whole, of course, like, acceptable, except, of course, it's very robotically and stuff. So of course, great Andre Braugher.
I'm interested.
I love Andre Braugher. So he's the master of the deadpan delivery in this. Andre Braugher's had so many roles, some good, some bad.
Dragon, there's that moment in episode 2 where they're kind of telling these tales of coming upon the captain and him being like really hard to read.
Yep.
And that was kind of the moment that really sold me on the show as a whole. I was like, this is really watchable.
again, like the whole show is kind of like you usually have those two characters, like your Fonzie and your Richie Cunningham. Like these two essentially are Fonzie and Richie Cunningham. Like they're the relationship you care about in the whole show. You know, it's Jake and Holt, these two very conflicting personalities, but there is like a mentorship and there's a friendship and a camaraderie, and there's a really great kind of arc with these guys as the show goes on, because like Peralta's silly and is goofy, but again he earns it, and Holt has to respect that. It's just a never ending. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Of course, some people might recognize Andre Brower from certain roles, like BoJack Horseman. Recently, he was a woodchuck. He was the woodchuck that ran. Do you know what the full name was on the woodchuck? Or
Woodchuck Berkowitz, I think.
I think so. Yeah, Woodchuck Berkowitz. Basically,
like Chuck Woodchuck Berkowitz.
I think that's it. Yeah, he was running against Todd in season 4 of BoJack Horseman, hilariously. Okay, so let's see. So then we have Rosa. Rosa brings Terry's sister Steve here. Sister Steve, who some people may recognize as Kripke from The Big Bang Theory. Just a little FYI. She brings this guy's been mugged in a nun costume. He's been mugged, and of course Rose's just kind of laughing it up because she went to Catholic school, and Terry never knew this. You were never supposed to. Of course, let's talk about Rosa Diaz here. How do you feel about Rosa?
Dragon, she was the other character I was struggling to come up with her name, but she's my other favorite besides Samberg. I love her.
She's delightful. Stephanie Beatrice, she's
awesome.
Yes, I mean she's so great, and I'm enamored with this woman. I really am. Like she's so good in everything she does. I mean, she had a really great role in BoJack Horseman season 5 this season. She played Gina. She was in Pee Wee's Big Holiday. She's done like these little roles that go the extra mile. I know she's got more work coming to her, but again, seriously, this show she transforms. She's like obviously she has to. I love how she constricts herself to be in this really kind of like not deadpan, but this really kind of this great serious, straightforward character. And again, the great thing about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that Mike Schur kind of quality is they're never following like a cliche. It's like you imagine like she's going to be the thing we've seen on God knows how many cop shows, like with Mariska Hargitay, or God knows how many other cops, where there's going to be like I'm so serious I can't have a personal life. I the other guys are going to make the jokes. I'm just going to be serious and roll my eyes at them. Like she's not that. She'll have fun with the rest of the guys, but again, she has like she does have the kind of that dark edge to her there, where it's like she's got some mystery. She's hard nosed. She's tough, but again, she's fun. Like she can have like just that kind of that. She's monotone, but she has fun with the monotone. It's just can't say enough nice things about Rosa. She's just perfect. It really is.
Yeah.
She gets better over time. I mean, she's great as is, but they keep plussing it. Okay, so anyway, so Rose is bringing someone to Terry here. Says, okay, he's got mugged by a royal baby, and then we have some classic. We have some classic Rosa banter here, where Terry, God help me, I love Terry. Terry, he thinks that Rosa, deep down, I think you're a big softy. You act all tough and everything, like a thug, but I think deep down you're a big softy. I bet you, and again, just Terry just kind of going on the thing here. I bet you read something really emotional at your graduation. It was like something, basically read some emotional poem at you.
Like, no, I think she's really mean.
So, and of course she's saying, no, I didn't graduate. I left. Of course, Terry's asking, why? Why did you leave? And of course, this is classic. Again, this is the Rosa delivery.
I'm not going to tell you.
I'm going to find out. And this is there's not a lot of it in this episode. This is like a moment to summarize what I love. One of the things I love about Terry Crews and the role. Why? Yeah, Terry Crews is he's an action star, good for him. But for me, it's just the comedic timing of Terry Crews is something I can never respect enough. I had like summarize one of the funniest elements of Brooklyn Nine. I think Terry Crews to me is like he's the laughing kryptonite. He's the X factor. He's the lethal component of Brooklyn Nine-Nine to me. He's the element that could kill somebody because when he gets funny. It's seriously, and this is like a very little taste of what he can usually do. There's this, I'm a detective, I will detect. That's the thing. Terry Crews, he's just a master of the declarative statement comedy. He can go broad, he can go serious. He's got range, but seriously, just when he unleashes like that, it's just like I think you saw like early on the whole. He's telling this guy, it was like stealing candy from a baby. You shouldn't be giving candy to babies. what's wrong with you? It's like that's Terry Crews magic.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. So following, so the point is Terry's on a bender this episode. Like I'm gonna find out she's a big softie if it kills me. So that's what Terry's gonna be doing this episode. Meanwhile, Jake goes to Gina, who's a character I remember from the first season. I had that grow to love. You know, it's one of those characters who again you either get her humor or you don't. Chelsea Peretti, she's a stand-up comedian, so I guess it's like kind of a getting used to her, getting like you're either that's either your taste or it isn't, or the personality of the character's going to grow on you over time. So Jake goes to Gina. They exchange some pleasantries, and of course, as Jake's exchanging his pleasantries, like, "Hey, how's your dance troupe? Is that a new haircut? Is what's Captain Holt's schedule look like?" Just trying to get a lead on what Holt's doing. Of course, Gina. Again, this is the delivery. She's very again not deadpan. I love that none of them are just like they're not just borrowing from what the other characters are doing. Like here, she's just kind of this very straightforward, this very blasé delivery. Like Jake, but again, she has so much energy behind the line though. Like Jake, I won't help you, Rob. I take my job as a secretary very seriously. Again, like she's so lazy yet active, and I love that about her performance over time. It's just
Gina, you're literally throwing paper planes into trash cans right now.
out of police records, like folding the police records into them. That's how I get them in the garbage can. So you know, Jake and what I love is that this is the thing that kind of won me over with Gina over time. Tiki is that Gina and Jake have a history together. Like they grew up together. Like they're friends from childhood, and that's kind of how they know each other from the job. And I love that. That kind of like developed her over time. Like you know, she was just more than just like the one liner in the show. She's like, okay, so Gina's just not that laid back personality. She's got a little bit of range to her, and that's the kind of thing I respected here. We have a really nice scene with Gina later in the episode. I think speaks to that. We'll get there. So so Gina kind of buckles like, okay, he's got a meeting. Like he's 10 minutes ago, he's going to a meeting downstairs. So Jake kisses her forehead and says, "What is that smell?" It's Dina Lohan face lotion. I see. So okay, so let's see. So oh yeah, so undercover. So undercover, we have Charles and we have Amy in the skeleton costume. The idea is that they would confiscate costumes from criminals around Halloween. Therefore, they have like a locker of like costumes they could go for. And Amy's skeleton costume has a smell to it because it's probably been used and barely washed and has like the smell of vomit in it. It's awful. It's poor Amy gets put through the ringer this episode. Let's see. You want to take us through some of this?
Sure. Let's see. So, chocolate dragon. It's another great thing about Halloween, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. So they see a Raggedy Ann drinking vodka openly out of a bottle. I'm sorry, Dragon. I don't have the names of the characters written down on my notes. I'm really bad at the notes.
All right. Well, Amy and Charles.
All right. So Charles.
All right. Well, essentially, what happens is Amy's kind of going on this thing about how no one respects anything around Halloween. They're wearing costumes. They think that's an excuse so they can get away with anything. And then she's like, hey, man, no open containers. And just saying, you bone person, who are you to say that bone person? Of course, skeleton, it's not that hard, okay? Skeleton, it's a term that's existed for many years. And of course, then she reveals the badge and they're all freaking out. Let's throw eggs at him. Of course, later on, she's coated in eggs. And I presume that's from these guys. Of course, Charles tried to brighten up their day with a little piece of chocolate. And still, the point is, her Halloween is still turning out terribly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. The next scene, we got. Oh yes, we have this. Oh my god, it's a great bit here. So we have.
Peralta, are you in my ceiling?
No. God, they look like little piece of dust and thing and like debris from the ceiling gonna fall down. So it's a perfectly timed bit. Just looks up, Peralta, or with a straight such a again Andre. I don't know, Tiki. I legitimately have no idea how this man does it. I have no idea how he keeps a straight face through this entire series. I got no idea. He says the most he says the most ridiculous things sometimes, but with that just perfect robot monotone voice. That's just it's just and he does it time and time again, and it's brilliant. It's just no. So basically, Holt kind of unravels what Jake's plan was here. Jake was waiting in the ceiling, waiting for him to leave the room so he can grab the medal. So Holt tells Peralta as he helplessly is in the ceiling, "Just so you know what's going on here, I'm putting my medal in my locked safe that only works with my combination, that only I know, and it's in the cabinet with the key that's only on his It's only on his person, and we see the zip line. It's one of those little key zip line things. There's like one of those like attached to his belt, and he goes off to his meeting. So Jake's so the job has become increasingly more difficult, essentially. So now it's like he has to get the key from Holt to get into the cabinet. Even if he gets into the cabinet,
I feel like this guy's kind of playing into Jake by giving him like a set of rules. You know what I mean? It's almost like giving him a mission statement to follow.
Is. And one of the things I love most about this episode, I love that essentially it's a heist episode. And of course, my love of Ant-Man, I'm a sucker for a good heist movie or heist episode. If it's done well, I'm a sucker for it. And this episode really had me with this premise. And I love how it's shot. Like we have these really tight inserts. Like everything you need to know is visually thrown in your face, so you won't forget it later. And again, all the pieces are there, and it's all going to come together wonderfully. Let's see. So as Jake is left in the ceiling, to which he...
Are you still there, Captain?
Captain? Captain? He falls. Just crashes through the ceiling. God, what a mess. And so let's see. After that, Jake, later on, he is arrested one second.
I think it's like a donut or a bagel.
No, it's a potato. No, it's a potato. It's a potato with butter on it. It's like, a
potato. Right.
Yeah. So basically Jake has arrested this potato and says, "Hey, don't touch the butter." So Jake's asking what happened to Charles and Amy, and they got egged, and specific more so Amy. I don't remember if Charles got egged, but I know Amy got more egged. So the point is, I got egged. I got shells in my contacts, in my hair, my mouth, and my bra. Of course, Jake is the great liner. I can't tell if that's hot. And of course, it's kind of a will they, won't they with Jake and Amy, which is kind of again goes throughout a few seasons. I can't tell if that's hot. It's not hot. Well, boobs go in a bras. Again, they get away with that juvenile humor because they're so good at their jobs, and I love that because ordinarily I'd be rolling my eyes at that. I'd be like, okay, it's just Samberg phoning it in, but nope. Samberg, he's got a lot built in the bank, essentially. Like, okay, can I do a boob joke? All right, I just like put a coin in the jar.
Right.
It's like the cheap.
It's almost like a stand-up comedian, like doing a quick like pop culture joke and then going into something like kind of some social satire, like really spinning a tale.
Exactly, it's like a stage comedian using an F-bomb.
And kind of like going for the kill with the social satire.
Exactly. So let's see. So following that, okay. So anyway, so she's Charles is having the best time, right, Amy? I wish I was dead. So again, Amy's just really devoid of hope at this point in the day. She just really wants Halloween to be over. And anyway, so Amy's asking like, "Hey, how's the unwinnable bet going?" Well, on one hand, I fell through the ceiling and onto a pencil. On the other hand, I bashed my brain. Bruised my brain. I bruised my brain. And of course, basically they're saying you should have made a bet you could win, like most.
Like most worn denim jackets.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Rosa says that's what threw me off about this. So Rosa says like the most worn denim vest, and of course this is great. So Jake's like, "Oh, it's just one time I wore denim vest, one time." You guys never forget anything, and of course it's going to be an important little foreshadow for later on, not forgetting anything. It's kind of like a little fourth wall break to the audience, like, "Hey, don't forget anything, guys. It's going to It's all going to come back in the third act. Remember this. So again, Jake's surprised by. I'm surprised by all the doubt, guys. After all, you're always telling me I'm the best. And so we don't do that. And of course, we cut to Charles saying, "You're the best." Basically, this montage of Charles saying, "You're the best, Jake." Where he's like bringing him coffee. "You're the best, Jake." He brings him paperwork delivery. "You're the best, Jake." Just randomly in the bathroom, just Charles in the stall. Jake's by the urinal. Says, "You're the best, Jake." "Thank you, Charles." And of course, Jake has now realized, I guess that was mostly Charles.
Charles just kind of shrugs, like, "Yeah, it was mostly me."
Yeah, I tell you, Tegan, because you brought this up to me. The cutaway gags are truly, they're really cutaway gags can be a crutch, and I don't feel Brooklyn Nine-Nine uses them as a crutch. Would you echo that same sentiment?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't feel like they use them as a crutch just because I feel like they're effective and they're well timed.
Yeah,
and not too many of them. It's just it's an issue of quality over quantity for the cutaway gags.
yeah. It's like we don't have like an extended like we don't have like an 8-minute chicken fight. Not nothing against chicken fights. I'm just using that as a point of example. We don't have like an extended cutaway.
Well, if anything, the main plot of this episode is the chicken fight.
Essentially, yes. It's the battle of wills versus instead of man versus poultry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. So after that, oh yes. So then Terry here. Oh my God, these are again more moments here with Terry here. So Terry comes in and he says, "Jake, I love you." Again, just Terry with the odd line here, but again, he legitimizes it with the care and the absurdity. Again, he sells the absurdity. Or he says, "Jake, I love you like one of my daughters." And Jake just kind of quickly questions, "Really?" But Holt's a genius, and again, I love. This is the thing melts my heart about Terry Crews. I love that Terry always looks. Again, he's the sergeant, and when aside from Holt, he's the boss of the 9-9. He's always looking out for his guys. Like he's the guy who kind of grew up in the ranks with the rest of them. He's like the guy like, yeah, we love our sergeant. That's kind of the he's kind of that. Again, he himself has daughters, and he's kind of that father figure already. That's kind of a brotherly camaraderie as well as kind of like a pseudo father. It's more brotherly, but a little bit of fatherhood kind of coursing through his relationship to everybody. They all respect Terry is what I'm getting at here. So I love that Terry, with all this legitimacy, says, "Jake, but listen, you're outmatched here." Again, not trying to insult him, just saying, "Jake, Holt's a genius, and he's had your numbered every turn." And of course, Jake comes in with, "Well, not this, well, not this day, turn time." And then basically Jake realizes, I think I have a concussion. There I go, and he just kind of falls into Terry here in the. This is the stuff that kills me, and this is stuff that I love about Terry as well, is that with Jake and Terry have this great honest relationship where Jake will just, he'll never try to play Terry. He'll always just be really direct with him, acknowledge like, "Yeah, I'm the weaker guy, you're the giant muscular guy," with that because it's funny. And he'll acknowledge, almost like a Billy Crystal stand-up routine. He'll acknowledge like the physical comparison, like, "Yeah, we look like a semicolon next to each other." Yeah, I get it. But I love that we do these gags where Terry grabs Jake and he lifts him, and just Jake has Samberg has this perfect delivery where it says, "Ooh, strong." Just that's what kills it. They do that all the time where it's like they have like it's a cheap gag, but they sell it. Where it's like, okay, Terry Crews, strong, beefy guy. Jake Peralta, he's a bag of bones, and they constantly they do this thing all the time, and it's great. Ooh, strong is God, it's funny anyway. So I'm gonna be hung up on that all day if we keep going. Okay, so then we have the Royal Baby lineup, and folks, by Royal Baby I do mean like guy with like a royal cape and crown with a diaper. That's exactly what you think it is. Royal Baby. It's not an elaborate hipster costume. Royal Baby. The lineup of Royal Babies. It's basically so they're trying to get who the mugger is, which was a Royal Baby stole his wallet, kicked him. This is okay. Say, oh, God, this is funny. Rosa, and they do this gag a couple times too, where they have the guys in the lineup say these hilarious things, where Rosa is basically trying to give like a point of comparison here. She's saying, "Okay, number 3, I want you to say, give me all your stuff, you stupid bag of crap. Give me all your money, you stupid bag of crap." And it's like, why do you have to say stupid bag of crap? And you shouldn't be laughing at that. Just like Rosa's just insulting this poor nun man. So, let's see. So Terry wants to know why she got kicked out of.
Yeah, Terry coming in like, why'd you get expelled from school? Drugs, selling drugs,
worse.
How could it have been worse?
Number three, I want you to say worse. Did you
Worse.
burn down a church? Number three, step forward, say worse. Worse. So again, it's worse than burning down a church, according to Rosa. God. Let's see. So, following that, Holt needs Gina to decipher. Sorry, Holt needs Gina to decipher Jake's handwriting because again, this is playing into the sort of thing I really like about Gina, where Gina again knows Jake like the back of her hand. She's worked with him for years, and they grew up together.
Mm.
I can't make out at all what this says, and basically, Gina translates saying, "The guy in the bunny costume." It's another. All these arrests with these funny costumes is hilarious. The bunny groped multiple women on the subway. So as kind of Holt's going through the motions here, Holt spots a suspicious, very obviously suspicious janitor in his office. Nice costume, Peralta. Come out here, and of course, it's just, no, I'm just a normal janitor. It's Samberg guy. Just a normal janitor pushing trash around.
And then Peralta, he kind of admits defeat, and he's like, it's like chess. Sometimes you have to sacrifice the kings to win. That's exactly how you lose chess.
That's not my that's not how my uncle Bob taught me. He said it was great, and of course, we have this brief cutaway flashback to young Jake with a BB. Well, sorry, let me jump. We have this, basically Uncle Bob here saying, "Okay, Jake, the name of the game is concentration. Now you so concentrate and start shooting." And basically, he's shooting with a BB gun. Importantly, because that'd be irresponsible. He's using a BB gun to shoot chess pieces like kind of lined up across the way and making he's an excellent shot. So he thinks he's a chess master because of that. Just then he taught me how to shoot backgammon. What he said. How to shoot backgammon. I gotta.
You see, I can respect that. That's like moving up in the world. Backgammon pieces, I imagine, are way smaller in diameter than chess pieces.
Yeah. Like, do you toss them in the air like skeet shooting? Like, how does it work? Let's see. So Holt's saying, "Do you really think this is going to work?" I at least expected a diversion. Of course, again, I did have a diversion. There was a slight timing issue. Of course, with the timing issue, like a moment passes, and then like a fire is detonated in the trash can. A big trash can fire erupts, and of course, just Samberg with that perfect delivery says, "Go, Captain, for 15 minutes. Go put that fire out for 15 minutes. Beware the backdraft." So Holt says, I'll be. So again, Holt's not budging. It's just that he'll be in his office. Okay, you're gonna be in your office. You're gonna. He just looks basically. Well, I'll be in your office, and of course, just looks at him straightforward, and basically he sees you have beautiful eyes, and he gives him this is a Samberg non sequitur here, and it's great. It's like a commercial break gag they use all the time on the 9-9, where Samberg's in deep with the boss, or he's disappointed the boss in some way, and he'll do something kind of like funny before the scene ends, where he puts the janitor's fake mustache on hold. He's just going to remain like a statue, and he gives him the broom. There you go. Now you're good. And he basically walks off in defeat of like, yep, he did not work at all. It would seem. All right. Okay, so next scene we're at the party, I believe. We're at the rave. Yeah, we're at this rave party where basically drugs are being exchanged, and Charles and Amy are undercover to stop said illegal activity. So Charles is trying to get Amy to have fun dancing at the rave before they. As that happens, Amy's just not into it at all. He's like just dancing like a fool. They spot the dealers. They split up. I believe Charles is going after the dealers. Amy's going after the drugs because they have to recover the evidence, of course. Which I feel so bad for Amy in this episode. Amy, she has to crawl on the disgusting littered floor, and those floors. It's like a movie theater floor where it's like all, like people have spilled their drinks, candy, and it's like again sticky stuff. And then she's like crawling her way, and of course her thing with the eggs is her costume with covered in eggs and everything is already sticky as can be. So she's like kind of army crawling on the ground. And to get the drugs, and she gets the drugs, but what happens?
She gets sorry, I can't read my own handwriting, Dragon. My bad. Because my next note just pigeons. What does happen?
Something spills on, basically something spills on her, and she says, "Oh, how is it hot and cold at the same
Oh,
time?"
right. Yeah. I just have hot and cold in my notes. My bad, Dragon. My notes are not great this episode.
All right, so Holt's on a call about. I just love I love the mundanity where Holt's on the phone about repairing the ceiling that Peralta has damaged. I love that he's not mad about the ceiling. I love that. So he's getting the call. He's getting the call about fixing the ceiling, and as he's getting this call, something
Like a
feathers.
feather just ominously floats by, floats through the crack in the ceiling.
And no, through the vent, through the air vent, Tiki. So it's flying
Right.
through the air vent. He kind of puts two and two together. I'm gonna have to call you back. So then he goes to the other side of the vent, and we reveal this ridiculous yet hilarious image. Like this to me is like a freakazoid image for Peralta. Here's like one of those images where it's just like put him in a red onesie, you got him. It's just that ridiculous, you know. It's like it feels like a freakazoid gag, and I love it. Anyway, look, I don't want to just the freakazoid things is some very minor things, not gonna be a runner. Anyway, what happens?
Yeah, Peralta is sticking a bunch of pigeons through the vent, through the air conditioning vent.
And he initially denies us the whole of like, what are you doing, Peralta? I'm just making copies.
I love how Kaji's just like, Captain, hi.
God. So Holt's asking like, where'd you get the? Yeah, basically Holt's put two together. You wanted to flush me out my office with birds in the air conditioning vent, didn't you? Well, now you've ruined the surprise. Of course, he's asking, "Where'd you get the birds?" And of course, we have just chasing. And again, this is one of those gags where again you roll your eyes at it, but again, it justifies.
It explains what happened. It's really well timed.
Using my big fat brain, of course, leads to him. God, he's chasing. Oh, I'm sorry, so ridiculous. He's chasing pigeons around. Bread in one hand, I think a bag in the other. And he's like, eat the bread. Just chasing them around, trying to get him to eat the bread and basically get into like this sack. And this to me, I'm sorry, let me redact my earlier statement. This to me is the freakazoid image right here. Like, get the bread, eat the bread. Okay, so all the freakazoid references tabled. God, so ridiculous. So again, though, Jake is selling this as like it's a part of an elaborate plan. You're losing. Says while he's holding. Well, I'm winning because I'm winning the contest of who's holding more birds than the other guy. For me, 0 you. You're holding 2 birds. Of course, we reveal 2 of them have escaped. It's like Let's see. So meanwhile, Charles, he's marveling. He's basically returning to the 9-9 with a skeleton costume, and he's saying, "Oh man, I saw a cool astronaut when I was at the party." He gave him a high five. He says, "Yeah, that was cool." And of course, we hear a man's voice coming out of Amy Santiago, so we know something's up.
High five, me too.
Yes. God, and we reveal it's Hitchcock, and I love that Charles can recognize it. Hitchcock. Yeah, Amy paid me $50 to put this costume on, so she'd take the rest of the night off. I'm going to buy 2 suits with it. I don't know if this was ever the point with Hitchcock. I've never really looked into it. I don't think there's an answer for it, but I think the assumption is that we have a guy who looks vaguely like Alfred Hitchcock, but he's dumb as a post. I really think that's what the inspiration behind Hitchcock was for this show. I have no proof of that, and I have no way to prove it. I'm just saying he looks Hitchcock enough, right? Because it's bald with like gray on the side. It's
yeah, especially like the nose too.
Yeah. Hitchcock and Sully, just the idiots of the 9-9, but they're kind of like imagine the old men from the Muppets, but just what if they were not clever? What if they were not just like if they're sitting around doing nothing but nothing entertaining? They're entertaining being stupid. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying nothing directly. Anyway, sorry. Okay, so point is Charles is bummed out by this. We're going to pick up on that momentarily. Meanwhile, Jake and Gina, and this is one of those scenes. This is like one of those scenes where Gina over time really grew on me. Like this scene right here, where it's like Jake goes to Gina. He's losing the hold to every turn, and we have this gag too. Where, like I love this gag where he's waving the Holt in his office, and just like Holt waves back. And again, this is really clever given what Holt's doing because he's basically talking to no one right now, but he's making it look like he's still on the phone with somebody. He's gonna wave him to him. He's like waving him to feet, like hey. Yeah, this scene here where Gina, she's basically, she's trying to comfort Jake here, and you have that friendship here, that warmth coming from Gina here. Usually, she's like kind of that sardonic kind of force in the office here, where she's saying, like, look, Jake, I looked at that, I tried selling that metal on eBay. It's not even real gold.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's like sold, put it online, sold for 0 bids, like zero bids on it. So, um, Gina's advice here is for Jake not to go. Jake just wants to go. Like Holtz, beat me at every turn. Like why bother? And she says, when I do my dance till I drop tournaments, she gives advice based on her dance till she drops tournaments. Where it's just you gotta dance, dance, dance. You just gotta keep dancing. I don't really see how that applies to us here. It says, yeah, I would. If I, I would if you weren't. Sorry. I don't, she says, I don't see how this applies here. You just got to dance, dance, dance. And says, well, you didn't even win that, Gina. Says, well, I would have won if Natalie's water didn't break while we're doing the competition. And they have this cute little moment. Again, these are the moments with Gina here at Speak to Me, where she says, oh, yeah, I know. Basically, Jake recognizes, oh, I know her from another circle of friends here. Yeah, her dog had lupus. Yeah. Really sweet. Small world. There's a little small world comedy there. So again, okay, I'm gonna go cry. Again, Jake just being that open, vulnerable character. That's the heart of what Andy Samberg's done with this show. It's a guy who can be silly as he wants, but he's gonna be very human. That humanity, I think, is what defines that character to me. So I'm gonna go cry. He just goes with a smile on his face. He's the sad clown today. And we reveal that Holt's been listening on the other end of the line on speakerphone the whole time. And Gina's asking for mercy for him. Like, I feel kind of bad for him. Don't. He brought it on himself.
God.
But again, Holt being kind of that father figure here, where, Holt's.
Yeah, I love how Holt, like, throughout this whole thing, like, he could have a reaction to it that's just like, okay, this is going too far. Like, I'm putting an end to this. But no, he's very respectful about the pet.
He's made his own bed. He has to sleep in it. Again, he's trying to teach Jake a lesson. Again, we know from the very beginning of the show, Holt's all about teaching Jake lessons to make him teach him and his squad questions to make him teach him and his squad lessons to make them better cops. Very interesting. So let's see. Then we have a heart to heart between Charles and Amy here. Charles, basically, just to summarize it a little bit here, Charles, he's confronting Amy, how he's kind of disappointed in her, and Amy's like, I'm sorry, Charles, I couldn't take any more of it. I hate Halloween. You tried, but I still hate it. And basically, Charles explains the heart of it all here, where Charles loves how, like, he agrees, yeah, Halloween can be terrible. You're going to be egged, all this horrible stuff, you'll be bullied, candy will be taken, all this bad stuff is going to happen to you, but when you run away from those bullies, it's the crucible that friendships are forged through. And he wanted to have that experience with Amy, and she kind of robbed him of that. So really, again, I love when we have these vulnerable scenes with Charles, because Charles can be a very silly character, and that's fine by all means. But I love that we have, again, the humanity behind all these characters is a defining trait of the show. And I feel that really blooms in these little moments here where you can keep the wig. And again, we have a moment of genuine sincerity and heart. Yeah, we still have a little bit of comedy at the end of it here, which is, I don't want the wig either.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. So Jake calls Holt out of the office. We reveal Jake in kind of this king outfit, basically surrounded by royal babies, the royal babies from earlier. And basically, he creates essentially he creates a flash mob of royal babies, where the music again kind of taking Gina's dance advice, where they have music and they all have keys and they're tossing it there. It's like it's a very massive, very impressive, by the way. I love how this is choreographed. It's a very well choreographed flash mob of them all like tossing their keys in the air. He basically clips the key on a string on Hip's belt in the confusion, and he steals the keys and does the whole bait and switch. You know who has the real key. But Holt, he basically finds Jake trying to make an impression of the key so he can make a copy of the key to get in there. Holt catches him, and Jake said, "Do you know?" And I think this might be the smartest joke in the whole thing. I got to be honest here. This to me is it's simple, but it's funny, Tiki. Where Jake says, "Do you know how much? Oh, come on! Do you know how much I spent on keychains?" Holt says $23. That is unbelievably close. 22.76. That to me is that's a smart joke. I respect that joke. I put that. I
Well, you
give
know
him.
what? That kind of speaks to the whole like the weird like perfectionist quality of Holt and kind of the you can't read this guy. You know,
Yeah,
he's very enigmatic.
he is. And T, because again, yeah, I don't know how. For the life of me, I can't remember how intimate, how much of Holt's home life we saw at this point in like roughly 8 episodes into the first season. I don't recall, but again, we do get some great layers, and we don't get a lot from Holt, but we do get enough from Holt. We get enough of we get this humanity over time that really builds, and I think that's really cool. Like we see his husband, and his husband's a great character. His husband is a character who, and again, this is the Mike Sherville. His husband Kevin is one of the as a big character on The Good Place. He's a really good actor too. And actually, oh Tika, I'll tell you now, that actor, if I'm not mistaken, I believe is oh yeah, I'm sure of it now. I'm sure that character is the guy from Better Call Saul, the talk episode. Remember the guy faking a story about his wife? That's who plays his
Oh
husband.
yeah, sure, sure.
Little fun fact there. Sorry, moving on. So let's see. Jake basically offers Holt mercy here. He says, like, why don't we call it? Well, this day's been very humiliating. Why don't we call off the bet? Which is a no go for Holt because again he has to make his own bed here. And Jake Platt again. This is again classic here. Jake kind of passes it off like the dopey guy in the room here, saying, "No, come on, no. I wanted to give you an out to save face." And Holt just again Holt he's been holding up a good again, Holt's been holding up a good front for the whole episode. He's been letting it play out, but he just kind of confronts Jake with the pity of it all here, which is this is just getting sad. And yeah, for you. I'm sorry, so basically Jake's like, yeah, for you, and he gives him his keys back and gives him the keys back, tosses him the keys back. So Jake's back to square one, it would seem. Meanwhile, we got Terry and Rosa. Terry's done some detective work, and he called Sister Bernadette. Sister Bernadette was I remember that old bag. She was my favorite. And again, take it that Stephanie Beatrice with a simple smile. She can say like a harsh line like that with that little smile. Adds so much adds so much personality to a really straightforward like line read. I love that.
Like I said, Dragon, she was definitely the character that kind of grabbed me the most, after the big selling point in Samberg. She was she's kind of a big reason why I'm keeping watching, after this initial 6 that I've watched so far.
I think she's a fan favorite too. I know a lot of people love her. I'm not surprised by that at all, and I wonder if she's like the most popular. I wouldn't be surprised by that because again, she's great. Let's see. So adulation aside on that, let's see. Terry basically confronts her with the fact that I talked to the sister. And she told me you were a model student and you transferred of your own volition. The Rosa reveals that yeah, you're right. I did transfer to a ballet academy. So again, it seems like Terry's like he's gotten the last laugh here, where it says, "I knew it. If you tell me when, I'll break your face." And she just kicks the drawer and again like intimidating, and Terry's just like laughing it off like, "No, you won't. You're too sensitive." Anyway, let's see. So, Amy. Okay, Amy. Oh, here we go. Here's the beginning of Act 3. Act 3 is the best part of this whole episode. Act 3 is one of the best parts of the first season. So, Amy frantically tells Holt that Peralta got arrested trying to scale the building with a blowtorch. Like, what? And then again, the Holt's realizing, okay, Jake
This is
promised.
like Heath Ledger Joker scales of like scheme right here.
Essentially, yes. And of course, it's by a cop, too, which is kind of ironic given what happens in The Dark Knight. But yeah, I love this too. I love that Holt from the get go. We kind of glazed over this, but just to mention it here is that Holt said, "Like, we'll do this if it doesn't interfere with your work." And again, the Hulk of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they can do all this and not interfere with their work. And anyway, so this is Jake taking it too far, and Holt's like, "Okay, now Holt's got to be like kind of the stern father figure, saying, okay, that's it. Okay, you, Mister, you've had too much." That's too much fun here. Okay, now you've blown. You're like that jerk in the room that took it too far. Now we can't do it. So we see Jake in a burglar get up and a cat burglar get up in the box, in the interrogation. Captain, welcome to the end game.
care to shake the hand that defeated you? And then he just kind of stumbles on his handcuffs. Ah, forgot I was wearing handcuffs.
The handcuffs are like chained to the table, so he like, trips over himself. So then here we go. Here's the beginning of Act. Oh, we're right in Act 3 here. So Holt's really seriously questioning. Says your performance tonight is making me question your not only your detective skills, but how smart you are. Period. And Jake saying, "Oh, how you underestimate me." Says, "No, I've correctly estimated you." And let's see. So, all right. So they had 5 minutes of the bet left. So they have 5 minutes of the bet left. Jake's cut. You have 5 minutes left. You're cuffed to a table in a locked room. What plan do you have? So then Jake tells him a story. So we basically reveal that we reveal the big elaborate plan. We show basically this is the Ocean 11s of it all. Here's the big heist movie of it all here, folks. This is the best part of the episode. So it's so well executed. Again, the storytelling is so ironclad on this, and it's like kind of Now You See Me, but more serious. It's Now You See Me in 20 minutes, and I love
it. Right.
We reveal basically everything. It's like a magic. You've seen everything. And of course, we pay it off in the very ending. So very the Now You See Me. It's not just a random like, hey.
All right. So basically,
yeah.
So to break it down, Herman was basically a distraction while Jake
Herman
was
the janitor for the folk we mentioned.
He had what?
Herman the janitor, just in case anyone's a little lost on that. Keep going.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, sorry. Right. Okay. So basically, when Jake fell through the ceiling, I presume that was like him giving a genuine attempt. By the way, to sin. That's always been my read on it. 6 hours ago, Jake fell through the ceiling and he got an idea. His failure led to Herman the janitor. The idea kicked off with Herman the janitor. I caught Herman, but not Rosa. And then we reveal. I mean, this is like this is the montage of all here. So we show Rosa picking the lock, and of course, Rosa obviously be able to pick a lock. I mean, it's Rosa. She's awesome. She can do anything. And that whole the fire diversion, which again seemed to not go off correctly. That fire diversion was timed perfectly with little control behind Jake's back. He hits the button, and basically the trash can fire distracts Holt, so Rosa can get out. So again, the point is the lock has been picked. Holt has no idea. The lock's been picked. The royal babies were made for. Basically, the royal babies were the diversion with the royal babies was made so Holt would focus on his keys, regarding the keys and following the keys. Again, it's a shell game. He's following the keys and where it's going. Where actually it was again the keys were completely unneeded. And I love that, by the way. I love how they call it in the question, like, you didn't need the keys at all. Like why all the things about the keys? Well, you're right, I didn't need the keys. I did need your phone, however. And we see Terry grabbing his phone. And Tiki, I still have not gone back to it, but I'm sure if you look in that scene, because we have a lot of weird camera angles in that, like fast camera angles during that scene, you can probably see Terry grabbing his phone if you freeze frame that scene.
Sure.
Terry grabbed the phone. They took the little plastic strip off the phone. Charles has fingerprinted it, so they can basically. It's not for getting the print.
This was the most clever part. They basically kind of through the fingerprints determined the 4 numbers that were used the most.
Yes, and knowing Holt, again, this is a little biting, but given Holt's age, he's just going to use the same code for everything. He's using the same passcodes. That would be accurate. That might be accurate. So Jake has the passcode. Well, at least they have the idea, like the numbers that are going to be used in the passcode. Let's see. So Jake, meanwhile, just kind of has this little mini tangent. We're saying, then I flirted with this sexy robot girl. I was going up the stairs like, hey, just what does that have to do with anything? No, it was just cool. Let's see. So then we takes us to 5 minutes ago with Amy. Amy, of course, beyond suspicion, because Amy, again, if Charles is Jake's kind of sycophant, I guess, more accurately, Amy is Holt's sycophant. Like, Amy wants to please Holt like there's no tomorrow. Amy wants to be the daughter figure of Holt. She wants to do nothing but please Holt and be the protege. And of course, I think the irony is that Jake's always going to be Holt's protege in the grand scheme of things, which is kind of funny. So,
right.
So Charles, basically, while Holt's busy with this right now, Charles is entering 24 possible codes, which is why Jake is. This is the big link up of it all here. Which is why Jake stretched out this explanation now. 4 minutes.
I mean, did you
Basically,
notice that the exposition here was like really, really drawn out?
yep. And if I'm so Nega horse's watch beeps, which means time's up. So either Charles is on the other side of that door with your medal, or I've lost. Of course, he opens the door, and it's Charles with the medal, just as Jake had hoped for. And again, Charles is trying to have his big kind of sidekick line. It looks like here you go, Captain Holt. Looks like Jake wasn't the only person you underestimated. And of course, it slams the door in his face. Poor Charles. And with 20 seconds to spare, Jake's all again. He's very George Clooney-esque here. Like 20 seconds to spare. Yay for me. So game over. Check me. Checkmate. You really need to learn how to play chess. So Holt's asking how did you convince them to help you? Because basically, Holt 9-9 helped him out. Where again, Holt did not expect that at all. And this to me was also really brilliant in the writing. Tiki, I love this where Jake appealed to their sense of camaraderie with a speech that put Shakespeare to shame, which then we cut away to him basically ripping off Braveheart very poorly.
Right, right.
Who's that's to wear ties? Like all basically calling into question the ridiculous thing. The very silly, inane things to rant about that Holt makes him do. And then basically said,
no, not at all.
Didn't work at all. And this is the clever thing. I love this. I kind of forgot about it. It's been a while since I watched, so I kind of forgot about this part. And I really love this on rewatch. How it didn't work at all, but he basically volunteered, like, if you help me out, I'll do all of your paperwork for tonight. And of course, Holt's going to be doing Jake's paperwork if he loses, which Holt did. So that means he's doing roughly like 5 to 6 times the paperwork.
Oh man,
5 times, but yeah, he's doing like multiple.
You know what? He takes it in stride. He's just like, I'm impressed, Peralta.
Holt doesn't mind paperwork either, so like, it's not like a big screw you or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, well, you lost, and Holt. Then again, Jake was really clever and like kind of again, it's like a really well placed bet in Vegas almost. Like just it's very expertly executed, very very good. So okay, let's see. So of course, so Holt says, "I'm impressed. Well done." He leaves, and he left Jake cuffed in the room. Captain just leaves him cuffed in the room. All right, so then we have a little heartwarming ending here. So Charles, he's helped Jake out. He's done for the day, and he's called into the briefing room by Terry, I think. He's called into the briefing room, and we reveal a Halloween surprise. They're all in makeshift costume. Hooray! A few costumes really stuck out to me, by the way. I love Rosa as the Bride of Frankenstein. That is an awesome costume. I love that.
Yes.
Like Amy, she's in the skeleton. Actually, Amy's his son better. Amy has this caution. She's a caution tape mummy, which I think that's a Tiki. If we saw more cops dress up for Halloween, I respect the crap out of that costume. This is a really inventive costume. Terry's doing, and Terry Crews has this really great ability where it's a really pointless ability, but it's just kind of funny. Yeah, he can move his pectorals, like wiggling your ears. Essentially, you can basically move them, and he has like salt and pepper shakers on his shirt. It's hilarious. So that's kind of a cute gag, I guess. I don't know. So we also have Pirate Holt. I love Holt's just as himself with an eye patch. That's his version of Pirate Holt. Just really. Anyway, so the heart of all this, the reason for all this is. It's Amy's way of apologizing for what happened tonight. I'm sorry about what happened tonight. And of course, Jake kind of chimes in with like a follow up to Amy's sex tape and gets a high five from Rosa again. Well, we love Rosa. She's down for it, man. She's not going to be that stick in the mud. So like, Amy.
I love that runner with Rosa, the high five and the
Yeah. Let's see. We have this. Basically, Amy saying, the Halloween was less unbearable with you, Charles. And of course, like Jake's trying to chime in with more of those jokes, and like Amy's like, "Hey, shut up, stop it." I'm trying to make a point here. And she's like, "We're all heading to a bar after we're all heading to the bar after work." So she gives him his wig back. She said, "You're gonna be, you can't be the only one without a stoom." Stoom, like she used his ridiculous term for it. Stoom. So before they head to the bar, they're on the 9-9 here, and we see. We see them all kind of having this whole makeshift Halloween party. They're eating candy apples. It's a really sweet little coda here. Holt makes the announcement, the big victory announcement, basically the image we have before us here, graciously. So where he says, "I'm sorry, T, you want to say the big big moment.
Yeah, basically, Jake Peralta is a genius detective.
Genius slash detective. Detective slash genius. Sorry.
Genius slash detective. Yes, yes.
And Holt's got some paperwork to do. But again, he takes it in stride. Let's see. So then, okay, then it's revealed that Rosa, I believe, Rosa and Terry have a moment here. It says, "Oh, the 92nd got the royal baby who did the mugging from earlier on. Stole 19 wallets, 19 wallets, and hit him in his diaper." So again, it seems like the day is over, but then they have a runner. So another criminal is just kind of running away like a Tarzan kind of loincloth get up. He's running, and then this is again. These are the bits that you love. Rosa Forte, as much as funny as she is, I love this too. I love how again she's awesome at what she does too. Where guy runs to her, and it's like she kind of closed, like basically she not even a clothesline. She basically rams herself into the guy with her hands and basically grabs him while mid run and slams him to the ground. And Terry Crew is wonderfully says, "Wow." He's amazed by this, and it's awesome. And as she's like cuffing the guy, like she's holding him down to be cuffed, Rosa gets the last laugh here, where she says, "Oh, and by the way, I got kicked out of ballerina school because I was beating them up, beating up the ballerinas." Ha! And of course, sorry, real quick, Hitchcock and Scully off to the side, having done nothing except saying, "We got a runner." Says, "Boy, really." It's a good thing we gave him the heads up. Go 9-9. Just doing the bare minimum of police work and kind of getting the praise. That's the episode.
All right. Dragon, I'm so sorry, man. I feel like I didn't really contribute a lot here, but that's just because you're so much more familiar with the show, and I'm just having a hard time keeping track of everyone's name and everything. So, suffice to say, my notes weren't that great, but I think I would have more of an appreciation for this episode if I at least kind of watched the build up, as you said, like where this episode leads, kind of like the different variations of the scheme, because it does seem like a very historically important episode for the show. And I don't know, man. Like as it stands now, it feels like I'm kind of like the kid who doesn't know these characters. Like, like you're inviting me over to a friend's house and there's this big group of friends that and I'm the shy kid and I'm like, I don't know any of these people. They all seem like likable people, but I don't know them. So apologies, Dragon, if I kind of did nothing but sort of spout exposition in this episode, but suffice to say, I am very warm on Brooklyn Nine-Nine so far. I'll probably continue to watch it as long as I can find a way to, through various means. And I'm glad we did it. Not sure if we'll do any others. I don't know. It seems like there's quite a build here, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's very fun. Glad you introduced me to it.
Yeah, I guess for me, final thoughts would be I think it's again, I think it's the beginning of like a great running tradition. Again, for what eventually happens with it, with a really good foundation. I think it has a great foundational start. Where again, I think it's pretty clear cut of like, okay, they institute this bet. Kind of Jake kind of cleverly kind of finds a way at the end. Got a little bit of laughs on the side there, with Terry, and of course with the kind of Charles's story with Amy. Kind of a little bit of a Charles getting Amy into the Halloween spirit. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward with a really kind of clever heist angle too, which is fun. It's so in the end with again classic Brooklyn Nine. It's a caper with a funny and clever signature that is indicative of this show, and yeah, it's funny and I'm going around the other ones impress as well. I've never really considered ranking which one's better than the other one, but I mean it's the first one, so I think I'm gonna have like an eternal fondness for this. And again, not my old time favorite Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but it's definitely up there. It's like if there were ever a top 10, I think it'd be on there. I don't know where, but it'd be on there. It's a very solid episode, and again, kind of a fun. It's a refreshing. Let me put it to you this way: you don't see a lot of Halloween episodes that do something like this, let alone with a cop show. I mean, I always want to acknowledge how rare that is, and how kind of cool and refreshing that is. And I gotta give major props for that. So Brooklyn Nine-Nine, kind of making Halloween kind of spectacular, memorable, and spooky, but more spectacular and incredible.
All right, well, that's the end of tonight's selection. Our spirits grow weary. but they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more haunted holiday hijinks.
I'm a detective. I will detect.